So today we're going to talk a little bit about how Megan and I met and how we started working together, which is kind of a cool story. We used to, we still work at a bunch of the same studios, but when we first met, we were working at the same studio, and I remember going to one of her classes and being like, whoa, who is this? Like, she teaches exactly how I like to practice, and also how I feel like I kind of teach. I remember thinking that like her cadence was awesome, and just the style of how she spoke and presented herself was, it just really, really resonated. And I was like, I want to know this person better. I remember thinking. And not too long after, every year I go on a 5-day silent meditation with my teacher, and I was on it. And sort of in the midst of like a long stretch of silence, our teacher invited us to ask ourselves for an insight. Just like ask yourself for an insight for this year. And so I was asking myself, I think it was like, what can I do this year that will be supportive or something like that? And I got 2 insights on that retreat. And the first one was that I needed to upgrade my living situation. And then the second one was that I needed to work with Megan Powell. And I remember being like, it was kind of out of left field. It was just like, work with Megan Powell, like collaborate with Megan Powell. And so I came home, and I was kind of excited because I already was like, had this like sort of magnetism toward her and her teaching. And so I went to her and was like, I think we're supposed to work together. And at the time I was planning a road trip out to California. I was like, just stop everything you're doing and come with me on this road trip, and we'll brainstorm what we're going to work together on. And she was like, well, yes, let's work together, but no, I can't stop working right now. Let's talk when you get back. So that was kind of the start of us beginning to form this partnership.
Yeah. And so kind of from my perspective too, meeting Suzanne, I always actually took her classes as a student. So this is years before I actually started teaching. And I always remember feeling like I resonated so much with her teachings. And I remember having the thought of, this is the kind of teacher I would want to be if I was going to be a yoga teacher. Just like, this is the way that I would want to teach. And so I always kind of looked up to her, Suzanne, in a way. And so when Suzanne approached me about working together, I was kind of thrilled and excited by the idea. And then when we actually started working together, I remember one day we got together in a park to kind of brainstorm, and we developed our yin yoga teacher training. And I remember feeling like I have never worked with somebody or worked on a project where it just felt so effortless before. It felt so naturally flowing, and we kind of bounced ideas off of each other in such a way that within an hour we developed this outline of a program that came into reality 6 months later, and it's now one of the things that we love to do most. And so to me, it from the beginning always felt like this really cool, like fateful collaboration where it just kind of fell into our laps in a way that felt really aligned. And we were kind of reflecting on this recently, but it felt like one of those things that both of us have worked for a fair amount of time on these awareness practices that we teach. And it felt to us that, we had gotten to a place where we're open enough to our insights and to our intuition that we could envision this project together, and something that felt very fateful kind of happened in our lives because we're living in alignment to, as best we can. So one final thing that kind of keeps us tied together is that I ended up dating her brother, which, I think Suzanne and I have talked about how we felt like sisters, for better or for worse. Like, we're so similar. And then we also have moments of kind of like, we need to pay close attention to our working relationship. And like anything, our project and our relationship, it needs these kind of awareness practices where as you move forward towards a goal that you're really passionate about, it's going to illuminate the things that need some growth, and the kind of darker, murky corners of your personality or your being. It's going to illuminate those things and say, hey, look at me. It's time to kind of move forward in this direction. So we've definitely had our hard times, but we're super, super excited about this project, and we feel so lucky to have found each other and to be able to create something together.
Yeah, so we want to let you know that we're going to be here for a while, and we're really excited about this project, and we hope you'll sort of stick with us and try out the things that we're offering and let us know how it's working for you.